The Philippine national election is over, finally.
菲律宾的那个选举最终结束了。
And this new administration will start next week.
下一周那个新一届的政府就要开始。
And they have so many problems to solve in this country.
他们有很多的问题，这个国家面临很多问题需要解决。
They say whoever solves the EDSA traffic truly can become a president.
他们还说，谁要真正能够把 EDSA 路上那个交通堵塞解决的话，真的就能做总统。
But not only on the roads, also on the air, because we only have one runway in Metro Manila.
不光是这个地上的交通，还有空中的交通也有问题。
But you see, in all these challenges, it's always the people who are less fortunate who are caught in between.
所以你看所有的问题呢，都是交织在一起。
That's why a majority of the Filipino people have put their hope in one person.
所以大部分的菲律宾人呢，就是把寄希望于一个人身上。
And their motto is, change is coming.
他们的口号是：改变就即将来到。
But they forget that this one person, one leader that they put their hope into, is just a person just like you and me.
但他们忘记一件事，他们寄希望于的那一个人呢，他也是像你和我一样的血肉之躯。
He too has his own weaknesses.
他也有自己的软弱，
His own flaws.
他也有自己的瑕疵。
But you see, the night before he was proclaimed president-elect, he went to his mother's graveyard, his mother's tomb, and he cried out.
所以当他确认他被当选为总统的那个晚上，他去了他妈妈的坟前放声痛哭。
He cried out like a child, wishing for his mother to be beside him.
他都是真的像孩子一样的痛哭，就希望现在妈妈能够看见这个。
And so, also about that same week, before the election was over, they knew that they were going to win already.
就是在选举即将结束的前一周，因为大局已定，他们知道要被选举。
And a few Christians got together, and this is Bishop Ruben Abante.
然后几个基督徒，还有一个大主教，他们聚集在一起来祷告。
And prayed for this man, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano.
然后就为这个 Alan Peter 来祷告。
Senator Alan is a Christian. He's a believer of the Lord.
这个议员那个 Alan 他是一个基督徒。
Every time people will pray for him, he would kneel on the floor.
每一次当别人为他祷告的时候，他会跪倒在地上。
And the Lord is using him because he is the running mate, the vice president who lost, but still very close to the new president.
神也特别的祝福他，虽然竞选了总统，好像落选，但是很接近。
So he is an influencer to the new president in as far as the spiritual aspect are concerned.
所以他对这个新总统的在属灵方面都有很大的影响力。
Every one of us are put by God in different positions and different roles.
所以每一个人呢，我们就会就是让神在我们生命的每一个不同的位置。
And in leadership, sometimes it is never easy.
作为领袖呢，有的时候呢，不总是容易的。
A doctor told the patient, "I have bad news and worse news."
有一个医生呢，对病人说：“我有一个好消息，还有一个坏消息。”
So the patient told the doctor, "Okay, tell me, what is the bad news and the worse news?"
然后呢，医生就问病人就问医生说：“好，告诉我哪个是坏消息，好消息。”
So the bad news, the doctor said, is that you have only 24 hours to live.
然后医生就说：“那个坏消息就是你只有24个小时。”
And the patient said, "I cannot imagine what would be worse than that."
然后那病人就说：“我不能够想象那坏消息将会是什么。”
And the doctor said, "Well, I forgot to tell you yesterday."
医生说：“坏消息是我昨天忘记告诉你这件事。”
So sometimes bad news, terrible news come along our way.
所以有的时候我们的生命当中会有一些坏消息发生。
This is Chippy, the parakeet or a parrot.
这里有一个鹦鹉。
His owner was one time cleaning the house.
就这个主人呢，有一天在打扫房屋。
And all of a sudden, while she was cleaning with the vacuum cleaner, she removed the tip so that she could clean the cage.
所以呢，在他用那个吸尘器的时候，他把管子拔掉，就想来打扫这个鸟笼。
And then the phone rang.
这个时候呢，电话铃响
And
了。
so while she was putting the vacuum cleaner tube in the cage, she started to answer the phone.
所以他就把这个叫什么吸尘器啊，就从那个笼子里拿下来，赶快去接电话。
And before she could say hello, she heard it.
然后在他说喂之前，然后他听到一个声音。
Chippy the bird got sucked into the vacuum.
哦，是因为那个鸟，那个鹦鹉鸟就是被那个吸尘器吸进去了。
The bird didn't know what happened to him. He got sucked in, and quickly the owner panicked. She opened the vacuum cleaner and took the bird out.
所以这个小鸟呢，根本不知道这个瞬间就发生的事情，它被吸到那个管子里面。然后这个主人赶快放下电话，把它从管子里拿
And
出
in
来。
her panic, she saw the bird was so full with dust and dirt. She quickly went to the washroom, opened the tap water, and washed it in running water.
所以他非常的惊慌，看见这个小鸟呢就被所有的灰尘所沾满了灰尘，赶快拿到水管用水冲。
And then she realized, oh no, the bird should not get wet, and she's shivering.
他突然意识到，哇，这个鸟全身打湿了以后就发抖。
So he got the blow dryer quickly and dried it up and blow it with the blow dryer.
他就赶快把吹风机拿出来，要把它的羽毛给吹干了。
That poor little bird didn't know what happened to it.
所以这个可怜的小鸟根本不知道到底发生了什么事。
He got sucked in, he got dirt, he got wet, and then he got blow dried with a warm hair dryer.
所以这个小鸟它经历的一切突然被吸到吸尘器里，然后被取出来，沾满灰尘，又拿到水管冲，然后用热吹风机吹。
Nowadays, Chippy just sits there quietly and doesn't sing anymore.
所以现在呢，这个小鸟呢，它不再唱歌了。
You see, in a Christian life, sometimes it's like that.
所以我们很多时候，我们基督徒的生命啊，也像这样。
Sometimes we don't know what hit us, and every problem just come one at a time.
有的时候我们不知道发生什么事情了，觉得这个事情接踵而至。
Then we get discouraged, when times are tough, we can't pay our finances, we lose our projects, or sometimes we lose even jobs.
然后我们就会觉得，哎呀，很消沉。有时候我们不能够付账单，或者是我们失去工作，或者是这个信用卡欠债。
And then even churches are also sometimes struggling.
有时候教会也是这样面临的很多挣扎。
So what is the answer?
那答案何在？
A lot of us go to people because we think this one person can save us.
我们很多时候，我们就是要来定睛在一个人身上，让他来解决帮我们。
But in Acts chapter 13, verse 13 to 52,
但是在使徒行传13章的13到52节。
by the way, we did not print it on the program because it's too long.
顺便说一下，我们的那个单页上没有把全部的经文打出来，因为太长。
But I encourage you to read this tonight before you go to sleep.
但是我来鼓励你们，今天晚上你入睡之前就把这段经文读一遍。
So this is segregated in 3 parts.
因为这一段的经文呢，可以给它分成3个段落。
Quite long, but it is quite meaningful.
虽然这个经文很长，但是是很有意义的。
The first part talks about where have you been.
那第一个部分就是谈到了我们曾经就是在
If we look back in our lives, there were so many experiences that we know sometimes was so difficult, we don't know how we will live another day.
当我们回顾以往的年日，我们会经历过很多的困难，甚至那个时候就觉得不知道该如何度下一天的。
But today we are still here.
但是今天我们仍然，
There's still another day for us to live for the Lord.
我们 仍然为主再多活一天。
And then where we are going.
还有第二个部分是我们归宿何在。
It is the hope that we put into knowing that in the future God has set something good.
就是我们的盼望在何处，就是使我们知道我们的将来。
And then finally the roadmap. We need to know how we will get from here to there.
然后第三部分就是说，我们需要知道这个路标是告诉我们怎么从这里到达那里。
And so where have we been?
那我们就谈一下我们身处何方。
Sorry for that. So where have we been?
就是在这个16到25节谈到我们曾经的经历身处。
In a sense, we know that God has a plan for each one.
其实我们明白上帝那个对每一个人都有时
He
间
has brought a lot of people, including Samuel, Saul, and David. All were kings.
神也预备了，在为以色列人预备了那个撒母耳，还有扫罗、大卫，成为他们的，就是在撒母耳的时代，扫罗和大卫成为以色列人。
All of them, including us, at some point came to faith.
所以有的时候，包括我们所有的每一个人，我们都会到了一个境地。
The Word of God came to us. We believe, and this is where we are today.
就是神的话领导我们，我们相信了，然后就促成今天我们的状况。
In the Old Testament, it was the same way. God spoke. God told them to do this, and God said who He was, and His people believed.
在旧约也是这样的，上帝显明他自己是谁，神的话领导他们，然后神的子民相信了。
But at some point, His own people did what they wanted to do on their own.
但有的时候呢，就是属神的子民呢，他们是偏行己路。
And in this chapter, it speaks about when God got angry and God kept quiet.
所以在这章经文里说到，神在生气的时候，神就静默了。
Sometimes I have disagreements with my wife, or she has some disagreement with me.
有的时候呢，我不同意我妻子的观点，她有时候也不同意我们的观点。
And she wouldn't talk to me.
那这样的话呢，她就不和我说话。
Sometimes you know that when she is not in the mood to talk, it's better just to keep a distance.
如果有时候你要知道她没有那个情绪讲话的时候，最好就是跟她保持一点距离。
In the history written in this book, God kept quiet, not for 1 day or 1 week or 1 month.
所以在这个以色列的历史当中，我们看到当神沉默的时候，沉默的时间可不是1天2天、1周2周的。
God kept quiet for 300 years.
神沉默了，实际上就是400年的时间。
He was so angry with his people.
因为神对他的子民真的是
That
太
he
伤心
stepped
了。
aside and let them do what they want.
神就是静默，任凭他们
So
任意妄
after
为。
they were saved from Egypt, they crossed to the promised land. The Lord allowed them for 40 years just to wander. 40
实
years.
际上，以色列人从埃及出来以后，要进入应许之地之前，在旷野呢就漂了40年。
And so they were delayed by all in all 450 years that His promise finally came.
所以他们就已经晚了40年的时间，最后才进入那个应许之地。
Sometimes in our life we have to be very, very careful
有的时候，我们的生命需要特别的小心，
because when we disobey God or we step outside of God's will,
如果我们背逆神，跨出了神祝福的那个圈儿，
He will cause us to go around and around like a detour.
所以神也会让我们就是像那个在旷野绕圈子一样。
But sometimes it takes a long, long time to come back.
有的时候真的是需要 花很长的时间才能够绕回来。
So finally, God's people repented. They knew they were sinful. They acknowledged they were sinful. They come to the Lord finally and said, "We want to repent."
所以最终呢，是神的子民呢要悔改，他们意识到自己犯罪得罪神，那么向神承认。
Then only then God's promise came.
然后他们一悔改，神的应许就临到。
So what we learn from here is no matter what you have gone through in your past, God can still work your past for His greater glory.
所以从这段的经文让我们看到，不管你以往经历过什么，神能使用你以前的这些经历，成就他的美意。
In other words, every road ends with Jesus the Messiah.
就是换句话说，每一条路的终点都指向弥赛亚耶稣基督。
This is a friend. Her name is Tina.
这是一个朋友，他的名字叫 Tina。
When she was born, she was already like this, and she had great difficulty caring for herself because she has no arms and hardly any leg.
当他出生的时候就是这样，他很难自立，因为他没有胳膊，然后他的脚也是这样。
So yesterday I met her again, and when I saw her, her smile is always like this.
昨天呢，我又一次见到他，我看见他的微笑是这样。
And then her dream is that someday she would become a lady pastor.
他的梦想就是有一天做女牧师。
Some 2 years ago, we served together. We were able to get some children who were handicapped, and she sang a Christian song to them.
2年前，我们一起配搭服饰，就是招聚一些有残疾的那个小孩童来，他给他们唱这个诗歌。
And you know, when you sing, you can be good in singing, but when it doesn't come out of your heart, people will know.
所以其实呢，当你唱歌的时候，你的声音可以唱得很好，但是不是从心发出来的，大家一听其实能听得出来。
She had a gifted voice, but more than that, every time she opened her mouth, it was really from the inside.
这个女孩子她有很好的嗓音，但是呢，再加上她每一次唱歌真的是由心而发。
So yesterday I asked her, "So what are your ministries nowadays?"
昨天呢，我遇到她，我就问她，你现在你的事工是什么呢？
Oh, I still serve in the praise and worship team.
她说那个 praise and
Praise and worship team.
她说我仍然是在这个敬拜赞美这方面来服侍。
So, and then she tells me, I also play the organ, the piano.
她还告诉我说，我还弹那个乐器。
I said, what? How can you play?
我问她你怎么弹呀？
She said, I play with my toes.
她说我就是用脚趾头弹。
And she plays well according to her co-workers.
然后她的同工说，她还弹得真不错。
God can use whatever circumstance in our life to bring us to the Lord, our Messiah.
所以神能使用我们生命当中的每一个经历，就是带我们来认识。
There is no reason any one of us here cannot serve the Lord.
所以我们在位的每一个人，没有任何理由说我不能侍奉神。
And in her case, every morning that she wakes up, she will have to face this problem for the rest of her life.
所以这个女孩子，她每一天早上醒来，她面对的就是她身体状况的问题，还有她的余生都每天都要这样面对。
But her hope is in the Lord. This is what carries her forward each day with a smile on her face.
但是因为她在主里面有盼望，所以让她有信心度过每一天，每天还有微笑。
And so here, where are we going? So we know our past. God can use our past to glorify Him. But where are we going?
我们一定谈到，我们知道我们的过去所经历的，但是我们要走向何方呢？
Well, the Lord allowed His people to do what they want.
当神有时候也认同他的百姓，
But eventually, when it came to the New Testament, they saw, wow, He is a powerful man. He rose from the dead. He said who He was, He is.
然后来到新约的时候，我们就大家都能经历到，哇，他是真的是有大能的神，从死里复活，他说有就有。
And He came, His purpose is to give them abundant richness.
所以他来到这个地上的目的，就是要让人过一个丰盛有意义
A
的人生，
satisfying life.
让过一个让人很满足的人生。
But He said that His richness is not just the wealth of this world.
他说了，这个他的富足不是指这个世界上的，
His richness is in His kingdom,
他的富足就是指天国。
and on earth His richness is the fulfillment of life in Him.
在地上富足的人，就是要来成就按神的旨意活的人。
So He came to rescue His people,
所以他来是要拯救他的子民，
and thereby He came just like in the days of David.
所以他来就像在大卫的年日一样。
David's greatest success
大卫呢经历了极大的成功，
was when he battled Goliath and let this giant fall down dead.
当那个大卫击败那个巨人歌利亚的那一刻。
But David's greatest failure
但是大卫呢最大的失败呢，
is when he looked out the window
就是当他透过窗往外看到一个女人洗澡。
But even in his greatest failure,
尽管是他有这么大的失败，
God still came and rescued him and restored him.
神仍然要来拯救他，恢复他。
Not because David was worth rescuing,
也不是因为大卫值得拯救，
but because God wanted to show his grace.
就是因为神要在他身上显明他的恩典。
David deserved to be condemned.
因为大卫只能配得受刑
He
罚，
deserved to be removed as king.
他所当受的是应该把王位
And
夺
every blessing that God gave him, the Lord should have taken it away from him.
他应该是受到的是神把所有的祝福给他拿走，
But God in His love showed grace.
但是神却爱他，向他显明恩典。
This is Sister Pat, a good friend of many of us.
这里是这个图片是一个有很多人的朋友
Pat.
Pat，
So she has a school in Laguna,
他有一个在拉古纳有一个学校，
and that's where that girl with no arms and legs, Tina, is one of her students.
刚才那个图片那个没有胳膊的女孩 Tina 就是这个学校里的一个学生。
So yesterday she invited me to come, and we had some great time with some pastors in Laguna.
所以昨天还邀请我去拉古纳，我们和很多的传道人牧师有很好的时光。
And then to my surprise, she invited the new mayor of Kabuya.
让我惊奇的是，他也邀请了那个 Kabuya City 的一个新市长。
I didn't know who he was, and then until Sister Pat said, that is the new mayor next week.
我还不认识这位先生，但是这个姐妹告诉我说，她下一周就是那个市长。
And this mayor told his story how he was able to win the election.
这个市长就分享了他是如何赢得选票的。
There were 4 candidates.
有4个候选人，
Among the 4, he was the poorest.
在这4个候选人当中，他是最穷的。
He's a lawyer who serves the poor, like the tricycle driver, the fish vendor. He offered his services free to them.
然后一个律师，他就是做很多事情来帮助穷人。
And so he said, they asked me to run, and I said, that's almost impossible. I cannot win because the others are very, very
建议他说你要参与竞选市长，然后他说我是不可能的呀，因为那另外那几个候选人都非常非常的富足啊。
And on the day of election,
就是在选举的那一天，
all his opposition mayors who were candidates were giving out money.
就是那个他的对手，就是那几个候选人呢，就是到处发钱，
Large amount of money.
然后呢，大量的钱呢，就是发放下去。
In his case, all he could do was just to get the volunteers. He didn't even have enough money. He had to feed them porridge.
粥。
Yeah.
他在他这边的状况，他没有很多的钱，他就招一些志愿者，甚至还没有足够的钱给他们提供粥喝。
But there was one thing he always did.
但是也就是有一件事，就是他常常做的，
He would come to Sister Pat
他就是来到这个
and he
Sister
would
Pat，
ask Sister Pat to pray for him.
他就请求 Sister Pat 就是为他祷告。
That if it's God's will for him to win, then so be it.
然后他就是如果神的旨意让他赢的话，赢得的话呢，就
So yesterday he came just to thank Sister Pat.
所以昨天他来这个学校就是要来感谢这个
He
Sister
said,
Pat。
your prayer is so powerful.
他就说哇，你的祷告实在是大有功效。
And Sister Pat said, no, it's not my prayer. It is the God who we pray to.
他说不是我，这个 Sister Pat 说不是我祷告有大能耐，是神有大能。
And he said, Sister Pat, I want to appoint you as the spiritual advisor of the whole city of Kabuya.
哇，然后他就对这个 Sister Pat 说，他说我现在要任命你成为这个整个 Kabuya City 的一个属灵的导师。
And so in our brief moment together,
就是在那个我们相处的那
I
个
asked him, Mr. Mayor, what is your greatest challenge or problem that you have to solve?
然后就问他说，市长先生，你有什么最大的一个问题，还有挑战，你需要面临的那是什么？
And he answered, poverty.
他说贫穷的问题。
I said, there is a Christian group. It is called Center for Community Transformation.
然后我就给他介绍说，我说有一个基督徒的机构啊，就是叫 CCT。
The president is Ruth Kayanta. I think she spoke here before.
Yes, last night. 就是我们昨天晚上的讲员就是 CCT 的负责人。
And I said, if you want, I can introduce you to her because her passion is to reach out to the poor, not only to feed them and give them a job, but to make them rich in heaven.
他说，如果你愿意的话呢，我会介绍你认识这个姐妹，因为呢，她是 CCT 的负责人，她的负担呢，不仅仅是也是向穷人传福音，来给他们提供饮食，他乃是要让他们做天国里富有的人。
And the mayor was so excited. He said, this is God appointed.
这个市长呢就特别兴奋，他说哇，这真的是上帝安排的。
And so sometimes God puts you in a place, in a time, with certain people because He wants you to do something about it.
他说神真的很奇妙，有的时候会让你这不同的人在同一时刻相遇，就是要为了成就某一件事。
So for us to have a roadmap that is debt-free,
所以对我们来说呢，我们这个路线图呢，就是要无债。
whatever problem you come, whatever failures you come through, remember to live by the law and to use it as your roadmap is to live in debt.
所以现在不管你面对什么问题，或者是你有什么样的重担，但是有一件事你要记得，当你要是靠律法去行事，或者是靠自己的意愿去行事的话，你活出来的就是欠债累累的。
In other words, just trying to be good or being good even just on the outside and trying to just work harder just to be able to achieve things. The more you put effort on your own self, the more you will find it harder to achieve God's purpose.
换句话说，就是我们凭着自己像外表越来越好的修行，那如果我们越努力，你就会发现自己离神的旨意就会越远。
And so as we go to the last part, which is in verse 38 to 52,
所以我们现在来到第3段的经文，就是38到52节。
it starts with the word therefore.
这个一开始用的一个词就是所以。
So the whole story talks about God and God's people disobeyed, and then God became quiet, and then Jesus the Messiah came, and then they killed the Savior, and then it finally ends with this. Therefore.
所以我们看见前面的经文呢，一直在谈神的百姓是如何的背逆神，然后神呢就任凭他们，神沉默了400年。接下来新约弥赛亚来到，然后接下来这一段一开始就说所以。
So we have to be careful not to miss the whole point.
所以我们必须要小心，免得呢重点我们会忽略掉。
This is the message today. It is because that we should believe in the person of Jesus, not in our work.
所以这就是我们今天主要的信息，就是我们要靠耶稣而活，不是靠我们的行为。
We believe in Jesus and we believe in what He did.
我们要相信耶稣，相信耶稣所成就的事。
So whatever troubles that you've gone through in your life, He has forgiven.
所以不管你的生命里面有任何的重担或者问题，他饶恕你。
He will even use those to glorify Himself as you move forward faithfully, believing that He will redeem you.
如果你仍然忠心的依靠他，来度过每一天，神能使用你生命当中的难关来荣耀他的名。
And then so here we are. We have to be careful. Do not let the prophet's word apply to you.
所以圣经来提醒我们，我们要谨慎，不要让先知预言的话临到我们。
And the prophet said,
先知的话是这样说的。
For they said, Look, you mockers, be amazed and die. For I am doing something in your own days, something you wouldn't believe, even if someone told you about it.
先知的话是这样说的：说你们这轻慢的人要观看，要惊奇，要灭亡，因为在你们的时候，我行了一件事，虽然有人告诉你们，你们仍然不信。
And so as I end, I'd like to just share one more. To move forward. We are guilty. Are we guilty of killing Jesus? We did not physically kill him, but sometimes are we guilty by not allowing him to live in our life?
虽然我们没有用肉身的方式杀害耶稣，但是有的时候我们没有让耶稣的生命透过我们活出来，我们也有这个得罪神的这个罪疚感。
Are we allowing him to live hope through us in such a way that we know we are able to affect and impact other people? Because we know whatever burden we carry in our life, we are truly debt-free because of who Christ is in us.
我们愿不愿意让他的生命，让他的盼望透过我们活出来？虽然我们也有我们遇见有生命的重担，但是呢，如果我们还是相信他，来让他活出来的话，我们就会过着一个无债的人生。
And are we, in a way, experiencing freeness, peace, clarity of thought?
那我们就会经历到真正的释放。真正的平安里面的那个安息。
In the midst of our problem, you are able to experience this.
既或是在你所遭遇的问题当中，你仍然会有这样的平安。
And so finally, this story ended when there was a riot and the people got angry. They didn't want to listen to the disciples preaching. And so the disciples still left, but they were joyful and filled with the Holy Spirit.
所以最终这个阶段的结尾呢是大家听众啊就很混乱，也不愿意听。不愿意听的话呢，使徒呢就离开了，虽然离开了，他们心里面被圣灵充满，仍然是欢喜快乐。
And this was the point when the Lord, through His disciples, told even the Pharisees, if you, the Jews, will not believe what I say, we will go to the Gentiles and we will also preach to the Gentiles. And this is where it started to go.
所以这段经文，神也是借着使徒来告诉当时的法利赛人说，你们这些犹太人如果不相信的话，我们就会转向外邦人，传福音给外邦人。
God has been always good to us.
所以上帝呢，一直是对我们是有良善的计划。
Throughout history, He has never failed His people.
所以我们透过整个的历史的长河来看，他从来没有让他的子民。
But sometimes He allows calamity, disaster, and problems just to go.
但有的时候，他也会允许在他的百姓当中有一些灾难呐、或者是伤害呀、问题会发生。
Because He wants us to be on our own to learn.
因为他要教导我们要有当学习的功课。
By learning this lesson, we will know that in Christ we truly have everything.
就是学到了这样的功课，让我们深深的了解，只有在基督里面，我们才有一切。
Who would have ever imagined this lady, who is a teacher, a mother, would raise up a young man someday and become the president of the Republic of the Philippines?
谁能够想象，就是这样一个妈妈，她是一个教师，她养育了这样一个小孩儿，这个孩子长大以后就能成为菲律宾的总统。
No one would ever imagine.
没有人能够想象。
And what an opportunity if we only were able to mentor, to coach, to disciple someone in Christ, all the more the blessing, the glory for the Lord will be much, much more.
所以只有我们是抓住每一个机会去教导人，去鼓励人，然后在用神的话语上去劝勉人，那神的荣耀就会越来越多加添。
So today I end with one video, just a short video.
所以结束的时候给大家放一个短片，
And this is to challenge us
这个短片呢也是在挑战我们，
that in every opportunity we have,
就是在我们今天所面临的每一个机会，
we should be able to pour our life into someone's life.
就是我们应该是让我们的生命成为别人生命的祝福。
This is the point why the Lord came here, because He told us to make disciples who make disciples.
因为主耶稣也是这样教导我们说，让我们成为那能教导别人做门徒的